Ma'am, that's not how you file classified intelligence reports. The secure military device in Rachel Brooks's cardigan pocket buzzed with the distinct tone that could reshape national security protocols in minutes. "I'll reorganize them immediately, sir." Her voice carried the practiced deference of someone who'd spent the week organizing documents for intelligence officers who had no idea she commanded the entire military intelligence network. What Major Carter didn't know was that the blonde librarian sorting his classified files outranked him by 5 stars and was about to receive a call that would change everything. Click. Carter tapped his security badge against the metal filing cabinet, the sound echoing through Fort Sterling's classified library. "And next time, make sure civilian staff understands that intelligence documents require proper security clearance protocols." Rachel's fitted white blouse and form-fitting black skirt had drawn appreciative glances all week. At 29, she maintained the athletic build that came from years of military intelligence training, though none of the officers watching her work suspected she'd earned her expertise commanding strategic operations across 3 continents. The military intelligence phone buzzed again. Crisis escalation. "Major, I understand the importance of security protocols," Rachel said quietly, her blonde hair catching the library's soft lighting as she leaned over the filing system. "Information security can determine the fate of entire operations." That's when the intelligence phone rang with the tone that would expose everything. Sergeant Wilson had been watching the new library assistant for 5 days now, and something felt classified. It wasn't obvious at first. Rachel Brooks moved through Fort Sterling's intelligence library with practiced efficiency, her fitted blouse and form-fitting skirt maintaining professional appearance while drawing appreciative glances from the male officers. Blonde hair pulled back during document handling, nothing suggesting she was anything more than what she appeared. But Wilson had 10 years of intelligence experience, and he'd learned to recognize operational training. The way Rachel handled classified materials wasn't random. She used security protocols most civilian staff never learned. When she organized intelligence files, she employed classification systems that suggested advanced clearance training. When she moved through the restricted library sections, she navigated with the spatial awareness of someone who understood compartmentalized information flow. Most telling was how she processed classified documents. Rachel Brooks saw everything. Not obviously, she never overstepped her apparent role as librarian, but Wilson noticed her unconsciously categorizing intelligence with analytical precision. Yesterday, when Major Carter discussed operational security, Rachel had shelved nearby much longer than necessary, her eyes tracking classified reports with unmistakable intelligence comprehension. "Wilson, you're staring again," Lieutenant Torres mentioned during yesterday's briefing. "Just observing security protocols," Wilson replied. But it was more than that. This morning's incident confirmed his suspicions. Most civilian library assistants would have apologized profusely when corrected by a military intelligence officer. Rachel Brooks had done neither submission nor confusion. She'd listened carefully, processed the security authority structure, and responded with calm professionalism that suggested experience managing difficult personalities in high-clearance intelligence situations. Her body language hadn't shown intimidation. If anything, she'd looked patient, like someone waiting for an analyst to finish a briefing. The secure intelligence phone buzzed again, its tone cutting through the library's quiet atmosphere like a security alert. "What exactly is that device?" Major Carter demanded, his voice carrying across the classified reading room. Rachel's hand moved instinctively toward the phone, then stopped. "I apologize, sir. Intelligence emergency contact. Intelligence emergencies are handled through proper military channels." Carter gestured toward the official communication system. "Young lady, this is exactly the problem with civilian staff in military intelligence facilities. No understanding of proper classified protocols." But what Carter didn't know was that Rachel Brooks had been conducting her own intelligence operation. As a 5-star general commanding all military intelligence networks, she had access to security reports and operational evaluations for every intelligence facility under her jurisdiction. Fort Sterling's intelligence library showed concerning patterns. Nothing dramatic, but subtle indicators suggesting information security breaches and leadership issues affecting operational integrity. Anonymous feedback mentioned feeling dismissed by certain intelligence officers. Security compliance scores declined consistently. Most troubling were bias reports about how different intelligence staff and classified materials were treated. So General Rachel Brooks decided to investigate personally. "Major," Sergeant Wilson interjected carefully, "maybe we should keep intelligence discussions private. Library staff sometimes overhear sensitive." "Wilson, she's a librarian. She files documents and maintains book records." "That's it." Carter gestured dismissively toward Rachel, who continued organizing classified folders with mechanical precision. These civilian workers sometimes forget their place in intelligence hierarchy. Important to maintain proper security boundaries. The phone buzzed a third time. National security escalation. Rachel's athletic frame tensed slightly as she recognized the escalation pattern. Somewhere in the world, an intelligence crisis was developing that required her immediate strategic assessment. The same assessment that had prevented foreign infiltration, coordinated counterintelligence operations, and managed classified threats to national security. "The problem with hiring attractive women for library positions," Carter continued, his voice deliberately loud enough for Rachel to hear, "is that they think their appearance entitles them to intelligence access. But this is military intelligence. Beauty doesn't earn clearance. Security competence does." Lieutenant Torres shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, perhaps we should lower our voices." "Should what? Pretend everyone's security opinion is equally valuable?" Carter warmed to his theme. "That's exactly the thinking that compromises operational security. You need to understand that intelligence hierarchy exists for a reason. Clearance matters. Training matters. Filing papers doesn't mean understanding classified operations." Rachel moved closer to their conversation, her movements carrying subtle authority that seemed at odds with the humble librarian role Carter described. That's when the military intelligence phone rang for the fourth time. The sound cut through the intelligence library like a security breach alarm. Not a cheerful personal chime, but the distinct emergency tone of the nation's highest intelligence command system. Every intelligence professional in the classified section turned toward the sound. Rachel froze mid-filing, looking at the device that connected her to the Pentagon's Intelligence Crisis Management Center. "Ma'am," Carter called with full intelligence authority, "I told you personal calls wait until break time. Turn that off immediately." Rachel looked at the phone ringing with military intelligence priority rhythm. 12 years of intelligence command experience warred with her undercover investigation. "Major, with respect, this isn't personal." Rachel's voice carried quiet confidence that made Sergeant Wilson pay closer attention. Carter's face reddened. "I don't care what kind of intelligence call it is. You're civilian staff in a military facility. When an intelligence officer gives direction, you follow. Period." The classified library went quiet. Intelligence staff at nearby workstations stopped their analysis, sensing confrontation. Rachel's steady hands trembled slightly as she set down the classified folders. Inside her cardigan pocket, the military intelligence phone held 12 years of command authority over operations spanning global intelligence networks. "Major Carter," Wilson tried. "Maybe she should—" "Wilson, stay out of this." Carter's voice carried across the quiet library. "This is exactly what I meant. Civilian staff who don't understand intelligence hierarchy." Rachel looked around, taking in dozens of intelligence professionals witnessing this public confrontation. Some looked uncomfortable. Others enjoyed the drama. A few seemed to be taking mental notes about security behavior. The phone rang again, fifth cycle indicating intelligence crisis escalation. "Ma'am," Carter continued with full major authority, "you have 10 seconds to silence that device and return to duties, or I'll have you escorted out and your security clearance permanently revoked." "Sir," Lieutenant Torres spoke quietly, "maybe we should—" "Torres, I'm handling this. Everyone's about to see how you maintain discipline and respect in military intelligence environments." Carter folded his arms. "Ma'am, I'm waiting." Rachel looked at the phone. The secure device that had coordinated responses to foreign intelligence threats advised the Joint Chiefs on national security strategy, and participated in decisions affecting global intelligence operations. For a week, she'd observed how intelligence leadership functioned at facility level, how authority was exercised, respect earned or demanded, how intelligence hierarchy affected operational security when senior staff thought no one was monitoring from above. Now she was experiencing it firsthand. "Major Carter," she said quietly, "you're absolutely right about intelligence hierarchy and the importance of following legitimate security protocols from qualified officers." Carter nodded with satisfaction. "Exactly. Now please turn off." "But you might want to know," Rachel continued, answering the phone, "who you're giving intelligence orders to." "General Brooks' Intelligence Command." The silence was total and immediate. Even computer keyboards stopped clicking as the words registered throughout the classified library. "General Brooks, we have a developing intelligence breach at Fort Hutchinson. Initial reports indicate potential foreign infiltration affecting classified operations requiring your immediate strategic assessment." Rachel's entire presence transformed. The blonde librarian disappeared, replaced by the commanding intelligence authority of someone accustomed to decisions affecting national security. "What's the timeline for my intelligence evaluation?" 15 minutes, ma'am. Base commanders are implementing security lockdown, and we need your authorization before expanding counterintelligence procedures." "Understood. Connect me to NSA liaison immediately. I need all penetration analysis reports and initial compromise data from the affected systems." While Rachel received the classified intelligence briefing, she observed the transformation around her. Major Carter had gone completely still, his face draining of color in dawning intelligence horror. Sergeant Wilson looked fascinated rather than shocked, as if analytical pieces were clicking into place. Other intelligence staff appeared to be experiencing various stages of security disbelief, but Rachel's primary focus was on the crisis hundreds of miles away. "General Brooks, we're tracking potential compromise of 37 classified systems. Evidence suggests advanced persistent threat with foreign state actor characteristics. No data exfiltration confirmed yet, but access pathways are expanding." Rachel began pacing behind the filing system, her librarian clothes now completely at odds with the authority in her voice and the complexity of the intelligence crisis she was managing. "Current containment protocols?" "Level 2 security response, ma'am. Base intelligence facility isolating affected systems, but no definitive attribution. FBI counterintelligence team en route, estimated arrival 4 hours. Recommendation: immediate escalation to Level 3 security lockdown, full network isolation for all intelligence systems, no data transmission until FBI analysis complete, and get me secure connection to Cyber Command at Fort Gordon." "Level 3 lockdown, yes ma'am. Secretary of Defense requesting your assessment on damage control protocols. Tell the Secretary that premature system restoration could enable deeper penetration to classified networks. We isolate first, investigate second, restore only after full security verification. Have cyber response teams on standby but maintain network quarantine integrity." Major Carter finally found his voice, barely a whisper. "General?" Rachel held up one finger, indicating she needed to complete the intelligence crisis call. Around the classified library, intelligence staff at other workstations began realizing they were witnessing something extraordinary. Security phones were quietly retrieved. Conversations stopped entirely. "General Brooks, we're also receiving reports of similar intrusion attempts at civilian defense contractors. Possible coordinated intelligence operation?" "Almost certainly coordinated campaign testing our security response capabilities and intelligence coordination. Recommend immediate FBI notification and Protocol 9 implementation for all defense contractor communications." "Protocol 9 implementation, yes ma'am. Anything else?" "Hourly intelligence updates on both military and contractor intrusions. If either breach spreads or methods evolve, I need immediate notification. And get me secure line to Director of National Intelligence. We may need coordinated civilian-military intelligence response." "Understood, General Brooks. Hourly updates and secure connection established." Rachel ended the call and looked around the completely silent intelligence library. Every face was turned toward her, expressions ranging from intelligence shock to professional awe to terrified recognition. She turned to Major Carter, still staring with the expression of someone watching their intelligence career disintegrate in real time. Major Carter, I believe you had concerns about civilian staff understanding intelligence protocols. What followed was the most uncomfortable 50 minutes in Major Carter's 9-year intelligence career. General Rachel Brooks, still wearing her fitted librarian blouse and skirt, conducted an impromptu intelligence leadership evaluation that would become legendary throughout the Army's Intelligence Command Development Program. Intelligence professionals, she began, addressing the 8 staff members who remained frozen at their workstations while other personnel quietly evacuated to give them privacy. What happened today wasn't an intelligence accident. It was the predictable result of leadership attitudes I've been documenting at this facility. Sergeant Wilson leaned forward, his intelligence training engaging. General, what exactly have you observed? Systematic patterns of discrimination based on appearance, gender, and perceived security status rather than actual competence. Troubling tendency to dismiss input from anyone considered lower in intelligence hierarchy. Rachel pulled out a small classified notebook. I've documented 22 incidents of intelligence officers making operational decisions based on assumptions about civilian staff, gender, or security clearance, rather than demonstrated intelligence capability. Major Carter felt his intelligence career prospects evaporating. Ma'am, I never intended any security disrespect. Major, intelligence intentions matter less than operational security impact. Intelligence leadership effectiveness is measured by how behavior influences information security, staff cooperation, and mission success. Rachel flipped through her notes. Your interaction with me today was consistent with patterns I've observed in your intelligence leadership style throughout this week. She turned to Wilson. Sergeant Wilson, you consistently questioned security assumptions and advocated for procedural verification. That's the critical thinking that creates effective intelligence leadership. Wilson felt simultaneously relieved and terrified. Being praised by a 5-star general was career-enhancing. Being praised for questioning a major's intelligence authority in front of that general was potentially career-ending. Lieutenant Torres, you showed discomfort with today's conversation direction, but weren't willing to speak up when witnessing inappropriate treatment of someone you believed had no intelligence authority to defend themselves. That's a leadership failure with serious operational security consequences. Rachel closed her notebook. Here's what happens next. Major Carter, you'll report to Colonel Morrison's office at 800 hours tomorrow. Your comments about civilian staff, intelligence competence, and appropriate treatment indicate immediate need for intelligence leadership development and bias recognition training. Carter nodded numbly, calculating the damage to his intelligence advancement potential. Sergeant Wilson, you'll join me for discussion about advanced intelligence leadership opportunities. Your willingness to question conventional security thinking indicates potential for strategic-level intelligence responsibility. All of you will participate in comprehensive facility intelligence climate assessment. This includes confidential input from all levels: civilian staff, intelligence personnel, analysts, and officers. Rachel stood, her librarian clothes somehow failing to diminish the intelligence command presence radiating from her athletic frame. Intelligence professionals, modern military intelligence requires leaders who recognize analytical talent regardless of packaging. The ability to see beyond surface appearances and initial assumptions isn't political correctness. It's operational necessity. She looked directly at each intelligence professional. Today, you had the opportunity to demonstrate those intelligence qualities. Some succeeded, others failed dramatically. This morning's incident will become a case study in intelligence leadership programs throughout the military. Not because Major Carter failed to recognize a 5-star general, but because he failed to treat another intelligence professional with basic dignity and respect. Wilson raised his hand. General, what changes do you recommend for Fort Sterling? Fort Sterling becomes a pilot program for inclusive intelligence leadership development. We'll prove that operational security improves when every intelligence professional is valued for actual contributions rather than perceived status or appearance. The civilian staff program will be expanded and formalized. Intelligence expertise in analysis, research, and information management will be systematically integrated. Most importantly, we'll train intelligence leaders to recognize and develop analytical talent wherever they find it. As she walked toward the exit, still wearing her librarian outfit, but now carrying herself with unmistakable five-star authority, the remaining intelligence staff sat in stunned silence, each contemplating how a simple filing procedure had fundamentally changed their understanding of intelligence leadership, assumption, and the dangerous cost of underestimating professionals based on appearance. 6 months later, the general in the library had become Army intelligence legend. Major Carter received transfer to intelligence analysis at Fort Gordon, effectively ending his operational advancement possibilities. His evaluation included mandatory bias recognition training and ongoing supervision requirements. But the impact extended far beyond one intelligence officer's career. Sergeant Wilson was promoted to Staff Sergeant ahead of schedule and assigned to Pentagon intelligence planning, where his demonstrated ability to question security assumptions proved invaluable in preventing 2 potential intelligence breaches. Lieutenant Torres received additional intelligence leadership development focused on moral courage, the strength required to speak up when witnessing inappropriate treatment of intelligence colleagues. The Fort Sterling incident became the centerpiece of a new Army-wide program called Intelligence Leadership Beyond Appearance. The program trained intelligence officers to recognize analytical talent regardless of gender, age, or civilian status, proving that operational security depended on seeing beyond surface intelligence assumptions. General Rachel Brooks was promoted to Director of Military Intelligence 6 months later, becoming the highest-ranking female intelligence officer in Army history. Her promotion ceremony was held at Fort Sterling, with over 400 intelligence professionals in attendance. Intelligence leadership requires the humility to recognize that analytical wisdom can come from unexpected sources, she said during her speech. It requires the courage to question your own intelligence biases, especially about the worth and capability of other professionals. The civilian staff program at Fort Sterling expanded to include former intelligence executives, retired analysts, and experienced researchers whose civilian intelligence expertise enhanced operational security in ways traditional military intelligence training sometimes couldn't address. But the most significant change was cultural. The incident sparked Army-wide conversations about intelligence respect, assumption, and hidden potential in every professional. Intelligence officers questioned their biases more carefully. Civilian staff felt more valued. Operations experienced improved security and greater analytical depth. The goal wasn't to embarrass anyone or prove points about hidden intelligence identities, General Brooks explained to a military intelligence leadership conference. The goal was creating intelligence leaders who see professionals clearly, value contributions based on analytical merit rather than appearance, and understand that our security strength comes from recognizing and developing intelligence talent wherever we find it. Fort Sterling's intelligence library installed a small bronze plaque near the filing system. Intelligence excellence is best measured not by how you treat those with clearance above you, but by how you treat those who appear to have no intelligence authority at all. Every day, intelligence professionals sharing classified work were reminded that everyone around them carried analytical stories, experiences, and security capabilities that couldn't be judged by uniform, job title, or first intelligence impression. Sometimes the person organizing your files commanded entire intelligence networks. Sometimes the quiet observer had analytical insights that could prevent national security threats. Sometimes the most powerful intelligence leader in the room was the one everyone analytically underestimated. If you believe every intelligence professional deserves respect regardless of their current role, type respect in the comments. Subscribe for more stories where true intelligence leadership reveals itself when people think no one important is watching. Support our mission. Link in the first pinned comment. Until next time, remember, never underestimate the analytical strength that walks among us every day.